So guys, for this project you'll be needing a leather. You can also use fabric, but if you're using leather, please, I advise that you use a really soft leather. The next thing you'll be needing is your lining, your interface. Okay, another thing you'll be needing is your accessory. I'm using a buckle, but anything that works for you, anything to add beauty to your work, just get it. And then we'll be needing a plastic. I'm sure some of us are wondering why I'll need a plastic. Stick with me and you find out why you need one. So for this project, you need to measure your head circumference. So I'll be using this dummy head to show you where exactly you're supposed to measure. Alright, so measuring your head circumference, you're going to measure around your head, like so. Use this tape on your head and measure around it. I think the measurement for this dummy head circumference is I think 18 or 19. But for my own head circumference, my head circumference is 22 inches. So for this project, we will be working with 22 inches. Now for the cutting, you're going to get your leather and measure. Okay, my head circumference is 22 inches, but I'm going to be measuring 25 inches so I don't fall short. Another reason why I'm measuring 25 inches is because of the top stitch on the base of the cap. All right, when you look at the cap, you see that there are 4 sides and those 4 sides are top stitched. So if you use exactly your head circumference after joining and top stitching, the size is going to reduce and you don't want that. And once it reduces, your cap is not going to fit. So for this, we're going to be using 25 inches and we'll be dividing this 25 inches by 2. So once you divide this 25 inches by 2, what you have is 12.5 inches. That's what we're going to be working with right now. 12.5 inches. 12.5 inches for the length and 12.5 inches also for the width. So after marking, you connect the dots and cut it out. Now we'll finish cutting out. We have our template. So let's work on the 4-piece. To get the 4-piece, you're going to divide your 25 by 4, okay? And you'll get 5.5. But since it's already divided in half, we're already using half of it, which is 12.5. You're going to divide 12.5 by 2 and you get 6.2. So we'll be measuring 6.2 on all 4 sides as the length and also the width. So you're going to have this marked in the middle and cut it out. So after cutting, you should have 4 pieces of this. So we have our 4-piece cut out like so. So what you want to do next is take 2 of this piece, put them side by side, sew it and then top stitch. We've sewn it now. Okay, so the next thing you want to do is top stitch it, and we're going to repeat this process on the second part. Now both sides are ready. What you want to do next is put them together. Okay, right sides facing each other. Then we're going to run a stitch on it. After running the stitch, we're also going to top stitch it. So that's what gives the 4 dimensions on the base of the cap. And please take note that while you're sewing, the top stitched part you already did should align with each other so your work does not look rough. Well, after sewing, you should have this. Now we're going to make a round cut. You can get a round object that measures your head circumference, or better still, you do what I'm going to do now. You'll be using your exact head circumference measurement, which is 22 inches, okay? And if you divide 22 inches by 4, you're going to be getting 5.5. So we're going to mark 5.5 round this particular template. Also take note that you'll be marking your 5.5 from the point that connects all 4 sides together, okay? That's where you'll be marking your 5.5 from. While measuring your 5.5, make sure you had like ½ inch for seam allowance, all right? ½ inch for seam allowance. So after marking this, we are going to connect the dots and then cut it out. So now we have our round template. Mind you, you'll be needing 2 of this, all right? So we're going to put this on our leather, trace it, and cut another piece of the round template, same measurement out. We have both of our piece, all right? Both of our piece. So we'll be working with the new piece first, the one we just cut out. What we'll be doing with this is that you want to measure the radius for your cap, for your beret. How do we get the radius? You fold this in half and then also fold it in half again, meaning that you'll be folding it in 4. All right, now to get the measurement of your radius, so to get the radius, you are going to take your exact measurement, which is 22 inches, and divide it by 6.28, which is like a standard measurement. And when you divide by 6.28, you get 3.5 inches. All right, if you are using a non-stretchy material, you deduct 0.7 inches or 1 inch from 3.5. all right, but if you're using a stretchy material, you just deduct 0.5 from 3.5, because since the material is stretchy, it's still going to fit into your head. Please discard whatever it is I'm writing on the paper. There's actually a mix up there. Use the text that has been popping on your screen instead. So we'll be deducting 1 inch because our leather is not stretchy. So if you deduct 1 inch from 3.5, you'll be left with 2.5. So 2.5 is what we'll be using for our measurement. So you go back to your leather and measure 2.5 from the sharp edge downwards. Measure it round and then cut out. So another preferable method to do this is that you open your circle round, okay, measure 2.5, mark it, and just simply cut out. That's the most simplest method to do this, that will give you the exact measurement. Or like what I'm doing now, you measure 2.5, okay, and then cut the excess out. This is a method that will give you the exact measurement you're looking for, because the other method is also good, but sometimes it gives you it just gives you a measurement that is smaller than what you want. But if you do it this way, you get the exact measurements you want. Now looking at this, after cutting out, you see that this measurement here is still small. The hole is small, it won't go through my head, so I still had to go in using the other method so I can get the exact measurement for my head. Then I'm going to cut what I've marked out. Now I have the exact measurement I want. The next thing we want to work on is the band of the cap. All right, so for the band, remember our head measurement is 22 inches, but I'll be working with 24 inches because we'll be attaching our accessory to this. All right, so the accessory will be taking some part of the band, so we'll be measuring 24 inches by 2 inches. So after attaching our accessory, top stitching and sewing, we'll have the exact measurement we want. So we have our 24 inches cut out. From this 24 inches, we'll be cutting out 6 inches, all right? 6 inches. So we'll be working with the 6 inches. It's on this 6 inches that you'll be attaching your accessory on. Whatever accessory you're using, this is where you're going to be fixing it. So to prep our accessory, remember I'm using a buckle, so I'm just going to fix my buckle on the leather. So I just cut out 11 inch and divide this 11 inches by 2. I cut out 11 inch for the length and 1.5 inch for the width, and I'll be dividing this by 2 because for the buckle you need where your buckle snap will be in, and the other parts will be where you're going to secure your buckle with. So that's why we're dividing in 2. So after dividing this in 2, you want to notch this to get the midpoint. I actually applied gum before notching, but you have to notch before applying your gum to it. Mind you, the measurement I used for this will necessarily not be the same measurement you use for yours, okay? I'm using this measurement because it's going to fit in with the accessory I'm using. So whatever accessory you're using, that will determine the measurement that you're going to be using for this. So this is me just applying gum to my leather so that when I fold in, it's going to stay still. This is me just notching after applying the gum. Please apply your gum before notching, okay? So I will set this aside to dry a bit and become tacky before we come. We're going to work on the lining. So you get your lining, place your round templates on the lining and cut them out. We're going to be cutting out 2 circles from the lining. We'll also be cutting out the lining for the band. Please guys, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Okay, thank you. So guys, we're done cutting our lining, so we're going to be going back to the accessory. Okay, so I already glued this off camera. All I want to do now is I'm going to be attaching my accessory to this, and since I'm using a buckle, I'm going to puncture a hole on the leather, a hole where that little pointing stuff on the buckle can pass through. Okay, so I'm done puncturing the hole so that stuff will pass through it. So you just watch how I do this. Once you're sure that it's sitting fine exactly where you want it, you're going to take this to the sewing machine and top stitch. Then for the other part of it, you're going to fold it in like so, giving it a triangular form or a triangular shape. You take to your sewing machine and also top stitch it. So after doing that, we're going to go back to our beret and start sewing. So we're going to put the round circles together, right sides facing each other. All right, so I'm going to take this to my sewing machine and sew round. So after sewing round, the next thing you want to do is remove the pins, turn this inside out and top stitch. Please watch how I do the top stitching. So now we're done top stitching. All you have to do now is turn this inside out. All right, so your top stitching should look like this. If it doesn't look like this, then darling, you're not on the right part. The next thing you want to do now is we're going to be working on the band. Okay, so after working on the band, we're going to be attaching it to the main body of the cap. So this is me working on the band. Remember the 6 inches we cut out, right? This is it. So we're going to notch this to get the midpoint before attaching our buckle strap to it. All right, so while attaching your buckle strap to this, make sure you're using the midpoint as a guide. All right, because the part where the buckle is and the part where you're supposed to secure the buckle with, it's not supposed to be, one part is not supposed to be longer than the other. They're supposed to be of the same length. So work with the notch to get your midpoint. Now secondly, while sewing the strap to the 6 inch, remember we cut out I think 1.5 or 2 inches for the width of this. You're not going to be sewing exactly in the middle. We are going to be using like 70-30 dimension for this. Okay, one side should be longer than the other, but I'm still going to be doing a little bit of folding. And if you use too much or put it in the middle, you won't have enough space for your folding after adding your plastic to this. After sewing the buckle strap, when you want to attach the other part, make sure it aligns with the buckle strap. All right, we're done attaching the buckle strap to the leather. Next thing you want to do is attach your 6 inch to the other part of the band. Okay, remember we cut out 24 inches, but the full length for our head circumference is 22 inches. So this is me just measuring to make sure that I still have my full measurement intact. So that's 6. You measure from the 6 downwards, you still have your 24 inches. Watch how I join the band together. Our band is ready, so we're going to be attaching the band to the main body of the cap. So now, as you can see, our cap is coming to life gradually. So the next thing we need for this is the plastic. The plastic will be placed on the band. Now, the reason why you need a plastic on the band is because if your plastic, if there's nothing stiff on the band, when you try to fold your berry, this particular cap folds bent to the back, side, front, whichever way you want to style it. Without this plastic inside it, it's not going to fold. It's not going to just follow you the way you want it to be. When you fold, it will still stand up again. Now the measurement for this plastic is 1 inch. You can use 1 inch on 1.5 inch because the band originally is 2 inches, so you're going to use a measurement that is less. Use 1 inch or 1.5. For me, I used 1 inch for this, and my exact head circumference for the length, which is 22 inches. The width is 1 inch and the length is 22 inches. So this is me just trying to join the plastic because the plastic is not big enough to give me 22 inches, which is the length. So I cut it twice and joined it together. So this is me measuring to make sure that I have my exact 22 inches before I attach it to the band of the cap. So before attaching, I'm going to put this together and sew. Okay, like the way we connected the band, we're going to put it together like so, and then sew before putting it inside the cap. So this is me just measuring my cap again to make sure that I have my exact 22 inches, nothing more, nothing less. Because guys, at this point you've gone so far to go back. If your measurement is not accurate, this is where you can lose it and fix it. Because after attaching this plastic to it, darling, it's just a no because it's gonna be so stressful going back, losing, and it's just a whole stress. So make sure it fits. As you can see, it sits in correctly. It fits in correctly. If you put your plastic like so and it doesn't fit, please readjust it before putting it back, or try cutting another one. Okay, so the part where we connected the band and the body of the cap is the same part where we are going to be sewing our plastic on. Now we're done sewing the plastic. We're going to be turning this inside out. So after turning inside out, remember I said that when you fix your buckle strap, you are going to leave a whole lot of space at the top. So this is the reason why you're leaving that space at the top, so you have excess space for your fold in. So I'm going to be folding this in. Watch how I do the sewing. So we're done sewing this in. All right, next thing you want to do is we're going to be working on the lining. So you get the round templates together, put them side by side like so, and we're going to be sewing it round the same way we sewed the body of the cap, the base of the cap. We're going to sew it round. So after sewing it round, we're going to get the band. We're going to remove the pin, get the band of the lining and attach it. So this band is 23 inches, but what we need is 22 inches. We're going to sew on exactly 22 inches. We're going to sew on exactly 22 inches, and since it's folded, you're supposed to have like 11 inches. So we're going to be sewing on the 11 inch before attaching it to the body of the interface. So after getting the lining done, we're going to get our cap, turn it inside out, place the lining, wrong sides facing each other, wrong sides facing each other like so. So we're going to be folding in the hem of the lining like so, then put it together with the cap itself, the leather, and sew round. So while you're sewing, you keep folding the lining in like that. Keep folding the lining in and sew. So while you're sewing this, make sure you're sewing directly on the first stitch you made, so your work does not look rough. Please make sure you're sewing on the first stitch you made so that your work does not look rough after sewing. So we're done sewing and our cap is ready to rock, ready to style. So this is me just giving it some finishing touches, cutting out the excess thread. All right, then I'm going to puncture a hole on the other side of the buckle strap. Yeah, so this is me puncturing the hole to secure the buckle so it fits. So yeah, we're basically done with this. Guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for staying with me to the end. Tell me what you think about this beret. Is this something you want to try? Is this something you're going to do? Please guys, leave your comments on the comment section. What do you think? It's given. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Bye.